Joe Liebling and the boxing gyms of the 1950s were like a pair of old shoes. These gyms, he said, have a mingled aura of rubbing alcohol, sweat, and hot pastrami, which distinguishes them from a gym run by Helena Rubinstein. Eli Hanover ran a joint like that in Baltimore. Woody paid a visit to Eli's place.
What Baltimore calls the block has a faded gaiety which seems to await the return of the roaring 20s, much as the fight game hangs on in the hope that all those swaggering young toughs in turtlenecks will rise again and revitalize the sport.
In a little gymnasium perched above the temptations of a go-go club, promoter Eli Hanover has taken on the considerable task of giving Baltimore the enthusiasm for boxing that is now reserved for football and crab cakes. Time was when Hanover concerned himself with the more sinuous exercises of the places where terpsichore hides her eyes. And indeed this club, whose pulsing jukebox battles the beat of the punching bag above, was his professional domain, philosophically more than a flight of steps away from the Spartan desk from which he sends dreams dancing over the copper wires of the telephone.
I'm interested in this fight because it has some excitement evidently.
Now, like all promoters worthy of their fantasies, he reaches for stars like Jerry Quarry, the hot heavyweight, to train in his gym and fight in his arena.
The main thing is that Quarry is available and we can talk about it.
While he awaits this eventuality, he presides over the destinies of local products like middleweight Josh Hall. Hall, a realist, still has the same messianic approach as Hanover.
There are a million people in Baltimore, and there are 5 pro fighters, right? That tells you something. You just can't. You can get a boy to throw a baseball or pass a football, but you can't get boys to hit each other in the face. When I walk down the street, there's only one man on the side of the street that I'm walking on, and that's me. It does something to your character once you become a pro fighter. It gives you self-confidence that you never had before.
And a good promoter is, in a sense, just as much of a zealot as a good fighter.
Eli Hanover's a perfect promoter. I always used to call him a golden tongue. You know, he can just sell things. He makes you believe. He makes you believe in what he's saying. You know.
No way, no way. And what I'm telling you is this: that the improvement of a Josh Hall will be seen Tuesday night. Come and see it. And yes, he's going to fight. That's the main thing. And the guy's very popular, and he has a degree of charisma.
Hall has left his mark on more than the bags and boxers of this gym. A carpenter, he enthusiastically took part in the building of the small, neat temple to the old Greek game of picks, or pounding on people with thong-wrapped hands. Hall's fellow building trades workers form a solid core of rooters, and Hanover placed him in the 8-round semifinal for his biggest promotion yet, a welterweight match between second-ranked former champion Billy Backus and 6th-ranked Jack Tillman. Hanover is an odd mixture of kindly teacher and crier for havoc and the dogs of war.
We are not using this as a meat shop, so to speak. Fighters come in here, they aren't brutalized. They're taught, and not by being beat up. You can't teach a fighter to fight by putting him through the mill. Once he learns how to fight and he's capable of defending himself, then you step him up.
What kind of fights do you like?
I like action fights. I like to see a little blood, just like the fan. He comes to see blood. He comes to see the real contact, the real thing. The true master, physical master. You're that lucky you are.
On fight night, Hanover is as careful as a protocol chief, steering the varying ranks to their proper places, like an Earl Marshal placing peers for a coronation. No silken diplomacy, however, could get unhappy Josh Hall in the ring for more than a bow, his first opponent having backed out on grounds of unreadiness and the last-minute import having proved too heavy for a proper match. He must ponder that banana peels await the sturdiest stride. The whole hailing carpenters among the 3,500 or so paying customers in Baltimore's Civic Arena were quickly assuaged for their disappointment by the slam-bang nature of the Backus-Tillman battle, where bounces were frequent and where those who weren't bouncing were bleeding. There were the full-throated roars that marked fight crowds off from the most noisy devotees of other and gentler sports, and there was a close decision in favor of Tillman, which led to the kind of healthy debate which keeps boxing alive between programs. While fighters sleep off their bruises, the promoter is a prowl again, organizing his thoughts as he walks, using the method, if not the matter, of Aristotle. Under the soothing somnolence of the hot towel, combinations form and fade in the steam, and the depths of his planning are revealed when he thinks of prospects for the day after tomorrow.
What do you say? Hey, man, which one are you going to be my fighter? Which one? Which